You're watching the Western Athletic Conference on ESPN. Welcome to Abilene, Texas in the Teague Special Event Center as we close out the month of February. An important women's college basketball. SFA undefeated in the WAC, taking on Abilene Christian. Take a peek at the WAC standings coming in. SFA can wrap up the outright regular season title today with a victory as they sit at 15-0. Abilene Christian, an important game as they want that fourth spot, a half game back of Utah Valley. And now welcome courtside, everybody. Zach Carlisle along with Cohen Carpenter, Joseph Chapa coming up as well. Here we go, final home game for ACU. It is senior day for the Wildcats, and they've got a tough test today. SFA comes in 16 straight wins.
Well, both of these offenses can score the ball. They're ranked 1 and 2 in scoring offensive respectively. So I think it's going to come down to the defensive side of the ball today. Who can handle the turnovers and who can get more steals.
Can't wait for the matchup. SFA is on a roll. How about our impact players? In a game of this magnitude, it's the leading scorers for both teams.
And exactly, this is highlighting the potent offenses that both of these teams have. Jamie Bonarens with 14.7 points per game. Not far behind is Vischer with 14 a game. It's going to be interesting to see which one of these two players outshoots each other in this matchup here today.
SFA is on a roll. One of the best teams in America right now. For more on that, let's send it over to the third member of our team, Joseph Chapa.
Well, hey guys, on SportsCenter on Thursday night, they featured the longest active winning streaks currently held in NCAA women's basketball. And tied with number 2 Stanford is Stephen F. Austin at 16 straight wins. What is also impressive is that Stephen F. Austin hasn't lost a conference game since March 3rd of 2020 against, you guessed it, Abilene Christian, led by Brianna Wright and Dominique Golightly. Well, Dominique Golightly dropped 33 points in the 88-62 victory. Now let's see in the last home game of the season and the last game here at the Teague Center, let's see if the Wildcats can be the kryptonite for the Lady Jacks once again. Guys, back to you.
Joseph, thank you very much. SFA, 16 straight wins. They've got a share of the regular season title, looking for it outright today as they take on ACU. Glad you're with us. Off we go from Abilene, Texas. Lady Jacks control the tap, and off we go to Sherry and Robinson. Looking inside, an early 2 for Ayanna Johnson, starting 5 there as Robinson makes her 13th consecutive start. And now Abilene Christian will have it for the first time. And Jamie Bonarens is fouled. And you see the starting 5, Cameron Miraz, into the lineup again after being taken as a bench player over the last couple of games. She's back in the starting lineup at the point guard spot for ACU. Tough test for these Wildcats today as they trail 2-0.
Already SFA in that full press defense, characteristic of the team that's number 2 in steals.
Bonarens offline on a jumper. Shots are going to have to fall for Abilene Christian today up against this juggernaut. Entry passes and kicking, and it's Robinson. A quick 5 for the Lady Jacks.
You mentioned shots are going to have to fall for ACU, and they're going to have to guard shots like that if they want to stay in this one, especially against this SFA offense. Open looks are going to be the death of you.
Miller kept that pivot foot. It'll be the pressure defense and then the 2-3 zone at the back end for SFA, the staple under Mark Kellogg. Cameron Miraz has the first 3 for ACU. They're going to need a bunch of those today.
A bunch of those, and that's where these two offenses are very similar in that 3-point shooting percentage.
And Zion Nugent was trying to answer with one right there, the junior out of Denison, Texas. Back and forth we go. SFA undefeated in WAC play this year, and they went undefeated last year in Southland Conference play. They've come into the new league with a bang. A feed from Mitchell. It's Stephanie Vischer offline.
You're going to see a lot of Bonarens and you're going to see a lot of Miraz here tonight. 2 of the best shooters on this ACU squad, and like we said, shooting's going to take this game.
Out of bounds it goes, and a turnover. Julie Goodenough, the head coach of Abilene Christian. 10th year, 2 wins away from 200 in her time as the Wildcat leader, and 13 wins from 500 in her Hall of Fame career. We've got 2 greats on the sideline today. Stephanie Vischer, no good on the 3. She's 0 for 2 from the field. And now Tatum Barber and company. ACU has not played since their game against Sam Houston 9 days ago. Maddie Miller on the 3 is no good. They were supposed to play Thursday at Lamar. That game got moved because of weather and unable to travel to Beaumont. Charge, Tatum Barber. Mark Kellogg loves that. This guy is a winner. 7th year at SFA, 17th year as a head coach. Look at his victory. You're talking 4 wins for every loss in the career of Mark Kellogg. 23 wins again, 24 of them this year for SFA.
That was a great charge taken right there by Zaya Nugent, getting that turnover, and that's what that SFA defense, that's the patent SFA defense right there.
Feed it to Johnson, stands at 6'3". Now Nugent, very athletic, dynamic on the take to finish it. And ACU trying to go quick off the made basket. Gonna beat everybody down the floor with the senior Maddie Miller.
It's very important that ACU stays with SFA, especially in the early game. SFA loves getting out to that early lead.
Nugent, well done. The feed to Johnson for the quick 2. ACU will try to see if they can not let SFA set up that pressure-packed defense. This defense is as good as anybody in the country. They force more turnovers than anybody in the WAC, and they're second in the country in that category. Jamie Bonaerens doesn't turn it over and scores here.
Good back and forth here, and this is better for ACU actually, having this back and forth, because ACU has the weaker defense. They need to provide for that on offense and overcome that obstacle.
Vischer turns, scores. She can kind of line up anywhere on the floor, kind of a chameleon type player. All 5 spots can be hers when Stephanie Vischer's out there. The senior out of Sweden.
Another thing that this full court defense does is it drains the stamina of these ACU players. Run around, create open looks. Great passing is going to be key in this one.
Bonaerens trying to turn, draws the foul. And I believe it'll be a shooting foul to Sherry and Robinson, charged.
And this is going to be the one big key to this game. Free throw shooting percentage is the one category where ACU is overtly better than SFA at, shooting almost 80%. In the last matchup against SFA, SFA only shot 50% from the line. So one of the big ways that ACU is going to work their way into this one is going to be from the charity stripe.
Jamie Bonaerens, ACU's leading scorer, her one and only year with the Wildcats. Bella Earl checking in for ACU, the freshman number 3. Started at Cameron, then Colorado State. Now the 1 year as a grad student at Abilene Christian. Goes 1 for 2 at the line. 4 minutes gone by and a back and forth start. Been fun to watch so far. Mitchell trying to dice through the D. Nugent on the baseline. No good. Vischer, look at that. Offensive rebound. And then it's poked free from Nugent. ACU gets a takeaway.
Despite the turnover there, that's a great showing from Vischer. Just couldn't get enough to get the bucket in.
Oh, that pass a little wide and off the hands of Brianna Mitchell.
And we're going to talk about Vischer all game, and that defensive performance right there is exactly why. She can basically play every position on the field. We mentioned that she's leading this team in scoring. She's leading this team in rebounds. She's quick. She gets in passing lanes. Not a lot that Vischer cannot do.
15 to shoot it as they will try to set up and break this zone D. Is that a tie-up? It is. It is a jump ball, and it'll stay at this end. 10 to shoot for ACU. They should stay on offense. They will.
Yeah, that's gonna need y'all.
Barber and Griswold were headed the other way. Play with 3 down here. And 10 on the shot clock. Second meeting between these two. Miraz, deep 3. No good. 1 to shoot it. Earl got it off, and it's no good. Vischer going to try to sprint. This is Angel Scott into the game, number 20 in the black uniform. Now Vischer in the corner.
And you can't do that right there if you're ACU. You're letting their best scorer, who's also great on defense, as we see right there, knocking it out of bounds. She gets a wide open look.
First time out, SFA's hit 4 of their last 5, and they've got the early 6-point lead in Abilene. Downtown Abilene, Texas. on this final Saturday in February as we begin the final week now of this regular season. And this matchup between SFA and ACU. Aiden, SFA off to the 6-point lead early on.
Yeah, and like we mentioned, we're coming down the stretch here, only 2 games left, and SFA can put the regular season, they can win it here in this 1 win right now. But yeah, this is big, especially in this 16-game win streak that SFA has going for them. Only twice have they not had the first quarter lead. So they love to get off to a hot start, and they love to stay in the lead. So it's going to be important to see how AC responds to, like you said, that 6-point deficit.
SFA has made 4 of their last 5 shots and off to a 6 for 10 shooting start. Just a couple of turnovers early. That's always one of the biggest factors in the game like this when you play this stingy Lady Jack defense is taking care of the basketball. A ball loose here. Speaking of, a turnover.
Incredible speed there.
Mitchell blocked by Earl. This will be the end of the floor for ACU. Can they? That's a turnover. Walk with Tatum Barber. You know, the scoring offenses, when you look at the numbers, almost identical there at 74 and 75 points per game, but this is the difference. It's the turnovers.
And it's going to be those small mistakes that make and break the game. Like we said, both of these teams have great offenses. It's going to come down to who shoots better, who shoots more, and mistakes like that on offense is not going to help your cause.
Vischer nearly lost that, but Scott's able to corral it. Inside, Johnson and Griswold. That's a fun matchup. Ayanna Johnson at 6'3".
So far early on, SFA is bullying ACU in the paint down low. They've definitely taken the advantage there.
Ooh, Miraz tried to throw it off of the defender, Vischer. Too smart for that. Nugent. That is Mitchell for 3. And then the foul on Vischer going for the rebound.
Good effort there by Jamie Bonarens, having the presence of mind to know in your surroundings, knowing Vischer, who again leads this SFA team in rebounds, really is a utility player, going up, contesting that, and getting the ball for your team.
A couple of things I'm curious about today. ACU hasn't played in 9 days because of the reschedule and the bye. That's Bella Earl. Come on in and bury a triple, youngster.
Bella Earl just coming off a Freshman Player of the Week nomination. Another great asset for this Wildcat squad.
After a 15-point effort in ACU's win over Sam Houston. Vischer on the move, blocked, but a foul first. It's on Emma Middleton of ACU. But a couple of things back to that thought I was thinking of here in terms of the Wildcats not playing in 9 days. I mean, a huge game today, obviously. And how much bench are we going to see? When you get pressed like this for 40 minutes, I mean, that might use some legs. This is not a team that goes to the bench a lot, so I'm curious how that goes.
Yeah, and we see this in every sport. It's not just basketball. How do teams respond to coming off of a bye week? Some of them, the rest is great. They love to get back into the swing of things, but other, you get complacent and you get caught up in your old habits, so it's going to be interesting to see how ACU responds after such a long break.
And the three-pointer will be the great equalizer. Stephanie Vischer to the bench for SFA. As we're 7 minutes into the ball game this afternoon. Important game, SFA undefeated at 15-0 in the WAC. And ACU a half game out of 4th place. Bonarens turns and fires. Middleton blocked by Johnson. Third chance for Abilene Christian. Middleton, baseline, got it.
And that's the importance of getting those offensive rebounds, not an offensive rebound there, but staying on the ball and making sure that you have guys and putting up those efficient shots, staying in the game.
Nugent, not afraid to fire.
One of the unsung heroes on this SFA squad. Everyone talks about Vischer, but Nugent, even in this game, been lethal from the three-point land.
About 120 points away from 1,000 in her career. Middleton on the take.
A great back and forth right now. The one thing you cannot do against this SFA team is shore up and change your game plan. ACU not doing that.
Baseline Nugent again. They're going to get 22 the rock. McClymondt brought it up and just said, you know what, Zaya, here you go. 2 more.
Definitely one of the more physical players on that roster.
Ball poked free, Earl. Middleton looking for 6 points in a row. Miller was there for it. And it's heading the other way.
Despite that lost jump ball, ACU's doing a great job on the offensive side of things, getting the rebounds, especially for a team that rebounds as well as SFA does, doing a great job of getting in there and contesting those.
Aaliyah Johnson, number 33, on your screen into the game, the older sister of Ayanna. Replaces her sister here. 5th-year Lady Jack. Now McClymonds call. The Portland transfer. Looking for Johnson, tapped away. Second turnover for SFA this first quarter.
ACU is doing fairly well whenever they slow things down on defense. A lot of these SFA points have been off of fast breaks and when they're moving fast, when they're moving the ball well. But when ACU gets things under control, under wraps, they have a fair handle on it.
Nugent went for the steal. Earl went for the 3. Can the Jacks run? McClymonds call is behind everybody and the pass wide.
That's obviously just a pass that Nugent would like to have back, saying that's on me, that's on me. Quick break there for the ACU defense, had them beat.
And SFA's, they're okay with turning it over a few times. They'll give it away about 14, rather almost 16 times a game. But they take it away so much, it just doesn't really matter in those games. Ooh, Earl looked like maybe tripped up from behind.
That's what it looked like, yeah.
It's going to go on Brianna Mitchell.
Yeah, back to what you were saying. #1 in turnover margin in the NCAA is this SFA squad, so they get the ball a fair amount.
Yeah, so if they give it away a few times, they're okay with that because their defense makes so much happen. Yeah, you saw the trip from behind. Under a minute to go here in this first. Taylor Morgan, who had gotten a couple of starts in a row at the point guard spot for Abilene Christian. Coming off the bench today, the sophomore. Bon Aarons, they need number 20 today. No good.
Those are the offensive rebounds you've got to snag right there if you're ACU, especially down early on.
Nugent already with 7 points. Looking for a double-digit first quarter. No good. Rebound, Angel Scott. 5-second-ish difference between the game and shot clock. Nugent. No good, and no shot clock, and ACU can hold for 1. Down 7.
Nugent with 7 points. She's really throwing her whole arsenal against this ACU defense, mixing up the shot selection.
5 seconds for Earl. Pokes free. Barber, 1 second. Bon Aarons, no. And that'll take us to the end of the first quarter.
No, looks like a no foul call.
No foul call. Oh, wait, do we have a? No, that's it. That's the end of the quarter. And with that, SFA leads at 22-15. And we're back to Abilene, Texas after this. I think ACU and Julie Goodenough, they were looking for a foul call, and they didn't get it. Take a look at the final seconds of the first. Barber thought maybe she got bumped. The clock is still running, and then they wanted a foul. And you see the official in the back putting the hand up. But it turns out it was not a foul, that it was just the end of the quarter. And so Abilene Christian was wanting some free throws, and they didn't end up getting it. It's a 7-point game.
Definitely a confusing call right there. It definitely looked like Bon Aarons may have the shot altered a little bit, may have had some contact on her forearm. But again, discretion is up to the refs. They saw other things. So here we are in the second quarter.
Well, away we go. It's WAC Women's Hoops on ESPN. Zach Carlisle, Cohen Carpenter, Joseph Chapa, and the gang. Glad to have you with us on a Saturday afternoon. Bon Aarons, much cleaner looking shot that time, but no good. And Bon Aarons is 1 for 6. They're going to have her shoot well tonight for ACU to have a shot. And it's a foul here on the baseline as Middleton trying to take it.
This ACU team is lethal whenever they shoot at their percentage. I think its statistic is something like they're 7-2 or 8-2 in games where they hit their average, especially from three-point line. So it's going to be interesting to follow that as this game continues.
I'll be curious what group of 5 makes the best combination for ACU today. Lob, stolen, taken away. Turnover number 6 for Abilene Christian. Just 5 in the first quarter. A pretty low number against a team that does that better than anybody defensively at taking it away.
A 7-point deficit in that first quarter, but things definitely could have been worse. ACU, for the most part, did a good job on defense, could have done better, but a great job responding on offense with those back-and-forth plays.
You have to just hang around with a team like this. Nugent on the move, a 7-point first quarter. She'll shoot free throws.
Nugent has been very aggressive so far in her offensive game plan. We've seen it from the three-point line, and we've seen it when she's driving down low. She's not afraid to get into those 2-on-1 scenarios like we see right there. Paying off, bringing to the foul line.
This is senior day for ACU in this 7-point game. Let's send it over to Joseph, talk more about it.
Well, hey guys, it's senior day here at the Teague Center for ACU, and for Coach Julie Goodenough's squad next season is going to look a lot different, with 6 of her players playing their last home game of their career right now, and some of their seniors' ACU legacy includes the program's first March Madness appearance at the D1 level in 2019, and putting the program on the national map by being one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the country right now. Let's see how these Wildcat seniors close their legacy as they prepare for the conference tournament. Guys, back to you.
Well, Joseph, that's really important, and not only is this the final home game, Bon Aaron's, that 3 no good. Then they're going to have to go play 3 on the road in the final week. I mean, that is just going to be crazy this final week of the year. Miraz cans another 3. So important today.
This Wildcat squad lives and dies by the 3. Like we said, it's going to come down to Miraz, and it's going to come down to Bon Aaron's in a large part in this contest. Miraz kind of picking up the slack.
Nugent, no, that time. Bon Aaron's rebounds. Not as much pressure here from SFA. ACU is going to try to execute in the half court. Walk from Earl. She took 2 steps.
And again, those are those plays that you really cannot afford in what is most certainly going to be a tightly contested game here, especially coming down to the wire. You can't have mistakes like that just turn the ball over.
Here's the interesting part, too. ACU takes care of the ball better than anybody in the WAC. 14.5 turnovers is the lowest number in the conference. Oh, how about the putback? Tyler McClyman call. Great work inside.
Good job by SFA so far, putting the tremendous pressure on this ACU offense. Again, maybe forcing some of those undue turnovers.
Griswold on the baseline. Haven't heard much from number 23, and it's a charge. Offensive foul on Sarah Griswold.
Take a look at that play right there. Here's the charge, and it looks like Nugent got under it, got her feet set.
Well done defensively. Just 7 points total so far in the second quarter. McClyman call. Oh, looking in for Johnson. Tap free. Trying that 2-man game. Bon Aaron's posting up and fouled.
Again, that's also going to be one of the keys to the game as well. We saw that charge on the previous possession, but getting to line for this Wildcat squad so they can get points there, it's going to be big.
It's interesting, too, because in this set of 5 on the floor, Bon Aaron's lines up as the 4 in the offense, so they post her up, and she's able to head to the foul line. As we mentioned, the first year and only year Wildcat out of Catchy, Oklahoma. 6th college basketball season. Granted that extra year, took advantage of it, and has become ACU's leading scorer for the season. Was not on the floor in Nacogdoches on January 10th, however, in that first meeting due to COVID protocols. Johnson turning, no good from Ayana.
ACU, good job responding here.
Ooh, a little wide, looking for Earl.
Bella just couldn't get her hand on that right there. Miraz saying that's her fault, too strong downfield. Take a look at that replay. That's Miraz on the pass there. Great job getting it all the way down there, just a bit too much arm.
look out on the couch in your living room. Stephanie Vischer, we saw her for the first 7 minutes of the first. She's now out here for the first time in the second quarter. Pass picked off. That's Griswold.
Great vision there by Griswold, just getting in the passing lane. Maybe the ball came a bit too slow, allowing Griswold to kind of read it, get in front of it, steal it.
Now Griswold at this end. Oh, lost it.
Oh.
That is a turnover. And who else but Vischer taking it away? Swiss Army knife type player, can do everything for
Good
these Lady Jacks.
there. That was good swarming defense there by the Wildcats, getting on Vischer when she got down low in the paint. Forced a 3-on-1. Vischer really couldn't do anything. Get the ball back.
Good hedge from Johnson. Mirage rifles one all the way towards the locker rooms.
Yeah, that was a tough pass right there, even getting it to Earl. Defender in the middle, tried to have to arc it over the defender, still getting it to Earl, who was on the corner right there. Tough pass to make right there.
The cool, calm, collected Mark Kellogg. That's what this team is, too. They just never panic. McClyman call short. Barber, that ball's pinned around. It's getting a little sloppy at both ends right now. That's a jump ball, and the arrow's going to SFA.
Most of these ACU offensive possessions are starting to end in turnovers. However, the score, they're still only down by 6, so they're doing a good job on defense, kind of shoring it up, making sure the game doesn't get out of hand. But again, got to get things right on offense. Want to get back into this one.
So that goes down as turnover number 12. 5 in the first quarter, 7 already at the halfway point of the second for Abilene Christian.
But like you said, just sloppy right there.
One back the other way. So SFA gives it up. It's an offensive foul. I mean, it goes down as a turnover. Offensive foul on Tyler McClyman call.
And again, these are two very efficient teams, very safe teams when it comes to giving the ball up.
Tatum Barber. Not much from her offensively. This is heading the other way, and it's a foul on Sarah Griswold. And that was the first shot attempt for Barber today.
Still only down by 6.
It's interesting, the longest, the biggest run SFA's gone on is 5-0. Yeah. That's it so far. You feel like you're just kind of waiting for them to go on that 10-11-0 run, that all of a sudden you look up, they're up double digits. ACU's really done a good job of hanging in this thing so far.
This is definitely a team of streaks, but like we see right there, it's going back and forth and back and forth. Both of these teams with 4 turnovers in the last 3 minutes.
Been a good start, 26-20, halfway home in quarter number 2. We're back here, and turnovers are starting to add up a little bit here between ACU and SFA. The turnovers starting to become a story. Let's talk more about it. Send it over to Joseph.
It goes back to what Coach Julie Goodenough said early in the week about coming out with a high energy to combat SFA's high opportunistic defense that is first in the country in the turnover margin, second in turnovers forced, and 5th in steals per game. And with high tempo and taking care of the basketball, let's see if ACU can take down the conference giant in Stephen F. Austin. Guys, back to you.
Joseph, thank you. Offensive foul here. It's on Taylor Morgan of Abilene Christian. And so, yeah, the turnovers are just gigantic in a game like this. This one goes down as another one. An offensive foul falls in that category.
Yeah, it's kind of the inverse of what we saw in the first quarter where it was back and forth scoring. Now we're kind of seeing back and forth turnovers.
Johnson charged this way.
And a lot of those turnovers are forced by great defense, as we see right there, taking the charge, taking the shoulder right there, really taking the brunt of that force down to the ground.
Seen 14 total fouls now in the game. A bunch of them have come on the offensive end on both sides. Backcourt pressure. It just speeds you up, and they take it away. It's Angel Scott. And it turns into buckets. That's what SFA does best. How did that not fall for Scott? My goodness.
Earl stayed with her that whole way.
Kramer had it poked free.
There's Scott again.
There it is, and another miss from Lombard.
A lot of miscues on both sides of the ball.
This is crazy. Earl blocked.
This is definitely not the game you would think of when you think ACU and SFA basketball. It is definitely not this hodgepodge of turnovers going back and forth.
23 of them here in the first half. Scott on the move. We've seen a lot of Angel Scott, and that'll turn into the bucket for Ayanna Johnson.
Ending a greater than 4-minute scoring drought for SFA.
Yeah, they had 5 turnovers in 4.5. Well, there's bodies all over the floor.
Yes.
This is getting physical and a little sloppy. And the ball is just loose all the time. That's a 3-second call in the lane for Earl. 3 minutes until halftime.
Got some subs coming in here, getting fresh bodies in after running all over the court. That's what that SFA defense really brings out of you, especially when they're in that full court press version of it. Doesn't give you any time to rest and forces a lot of those mistakes that we were seeing early on.
Johnson fouled. Free throws coming here, coming up. The ESPN halftime report. Kerry Johnston, Nathaniel Chisholm in the studio. An ACU TV feature and Wildcat assistant coach Erica Lambert. And we break down the first half with highlights and analysis. All coming up on the ESPN halftime report. Ayanna Johnson, Lee's Summit, Missouri product. So we're under 3 to play. The senior's been around forever. 113 games now played in her SFA career. A 1,200-point scorer. Spectacular Lady Jack career. Maddie Miller got up ahead. Maddie Miller lays it in.
Great play by Maddie Miller, but even better pass by Miraz there, kind of redeeming herself after throwing 2 of them out of bounds early on. Miraz, great way to find Maddie Miller open down low, making that play happen.
Robinson turning, scoring. No, rather Johnson. That was Ayanna Johnson. Spectacular handles. Get it back to 10. It is the largest lead for SFA. Von Ahrens, quick 2. No, it has not been an ideal half for Jamie Von Ahrens. Spots up here. Connects. And all of a sudden she's got 8 as I say it.
Yeah.
Her first 3 of the game.
Von Ahrens, though, she's definitely shooting less than what she usually does. Going to need to get back into it. The leading scorer on this ACU squad.
Nugent walked. Minute 48 to go.
Nugent about to go down low yet again, and she loves that. Setting up in the wing, going down low. Even if she's on a 2-on-1 situation, she'll go up there, get the foul, get to the free throw line.
ACU trying to cut it down underneath 7. Miraz. Vischer, the rebound. Go figure, the 6-foot guard, one of the best rebounders in the league. McClement calls up ahead. Wonderful pass from Vischer. And a timeout called with 1:22. That pass after the rebound was amazing right here.
And Vischer, like we said before, she can do everything, and we're gonna be saying her name a lot throughout the rest of this game. She, one of the leaders of assists, the leaders in rebounds, lead scorer on this team. She's all over the place, and we see it right there.
This thing's gotten sloppy in the second quarter. It really has. I don't ever see SFA panic at all. They still got this 9-point lead. They're not scoring it crazily here in the first half, 34 points, but they just take it a play at a time, and they never seem to panic.
It never seemed to panic, and nothing really gets to them. They can have off days, and they're making a few mistakes, especially here. Both sides are, but great job overcoming those mistakes and just fighting the adversity, fighting their way back into this one, establishing a fairly large lead.
Their second largest lead of the first half. ACU's hung around. Nobody's really played SFA close this year, particularly in league play. Bon Aaron's well off.
Bon Aaron's, like you said before, just having an off night, in a night which you cannot have an off night, playing the best team in the WAC.
2 for 10 in the first half. Inside, Johnson was stripped. Oh, it's out of bounds off Vianna Johnson.
ACU's really done a good job, especially later on in this second quarter, of shoring up their paint defense and getting down low, getting bodies down low, and not ceding those easy layups that maybe they were getting a little bit in the first quarter.
A potential chance for a 2 for 1, but ACU would have to score here in a couple of seconds. They're not going to do that. Emma Middleton, she'll go left. No good. SFA can hold for the last shot if they choose. And that's exactly what the very smart Brianna Mitchell's going to do.
And like we said before, this is what SFA loves to do, is they love to get out in front of you, and then they love to hold that lead for the rest of the game.
Mitchell, well done. Largest lead of the half comes right now at 11 for SFA. They close the half, making each of their last 5 shots, and they've got the 36-25 lead over Abilene Christian. It's halftime, and it's time for the ESPN Halftime Report, and let's send it over to the folks in the studio. Gary, Nathaniel, all yours.
25 here in the Teague Center in Abilene. Welcome to the Halftime Report. I'm Carrie Johnston alongside Nathaniel Chisholm. So Nathaniel, what do you think of the first half so far?
I think it's been an amazing first half. I think SFA has came out here, they've played great. ACU's keeping up. ACU's trying to keep the lead for that. There was a really weird 4-minute drought in the second half. I mean, the percentages, both sides shooting, everything is just going outstanding.
Yeah, but right now SFA has the 36-25 lead. We'll talk about that, plus all stuff around the WAC when we come back. It's right now 36-25 in the Ladies Jack's favor. Welcome back inside to the ACU TV or studio. I'm Carrie Johnston alongside Nathaniel Chisholm. We were talking about a little bit of this before we went to break, but turnovers have played a big part in this half.
Yeah, it's been insane. ACU has had 16 turnovers. Not only that, but it allowed the Lady Jacks to get 10 points off of that. I mean, it's just been insane. SFA went and they gave up 11. I mean, just the points, the turnovers, everything, this game has been atrocious on both sides. Yeah,
it's going to be interesting to see how turnovers contribute. Now let's take a look at the WAC standings. Right now, as we talked about at the beginning, SFA has just dominated the Western Athletic Conference so far, 15-0. ACU right now standing at 5th seed at 8-6. Nathaniel, what do you want to see out of both of these teams as they fight for final positioning?
I think as we watch both of these teams keep going, SFA is currently on a 16-game win streak. No matter the come out of this game, SFA is not only taking WAC championship status, but they're just going to continue on to out-of-conference offseason play. Not only that, but ACU coming into this, if they win, you can kind of see it right there. It's going to put them up there with Utah Valley. But
yeah, not only this game being a really important game for both teams, but we have multiple games happening around the WAC today. Right now we have a game going on with New Mexico State and Chicago State. Right now New Mexico State up by 3. Later on today we have Utah Valley and California Baptist, a little 2-4 seed battle right there. And then we have Tarleton Lamar, Grand Canyon, and Sam Houston, and then Dixie State and Seattle U. All of those going to be really great games, Nathaniel.
I agree. It's going to be really interesting to watch that Utah Valley California Baptist coming up here at 2 p.m. on ESPN+. See, that game decides not only, Utah Valley and Cal Baptist being that 3rd and 4th seed, but ACU also is trying to fight for that 4th seed spot as well.
Yes, a lot of really great games that will be happening today, all of them on ESPN+. But first, we're going to head to a feature led by ACU TV Serenading, where she got to talk to assistant coach Erica Lambert.
I know you and Coach Goodenough coached together in the past. What drew you to coach with her again? So we met, I guess, when I was a senior in college. That's been a while ago now. But Julie Goodenough rolled into Charleston, South Carolina as the head coach at Charleston Southern University, which was about 25 minutes from my alma mater at the College of Charleston. And so I got to play against her team as a player, and then I was on staff at my alma mater for 3 seasons as the director of operations. That's really when my coaching career started, and got to know her through that too, because our teams played every year. And so my first gig as an assistant coach, though, was for Julie at Charleston Southern. So yeah, she gave me my first shot as an assistant coach. And so even in the 1 season that we had together there, I just learned how much our values aligned, and that was really, really important to me. And so when she called and asked me to move to Abilene, Texas to come be her assistant at ACU, my husband and I visited, and we just knew that it was going to be the right fit for our family.
Over the past 7 seasons at ACU, what are some team accomplishments that stand out in your mind?
Well, championships is the main one. You know, Coach Goodenough really has taught me how to cut down the nets, and I can't thank her enough for that, because there's a lot of great coaches out there, and she really is, she just puts it all together. And as I aspire to be a head coach one day, and there's so many things that I would do exactly the way that she does them, because she teaches the character development piece and just this team first wins mentality, but at such a competitive level. She wins, but she does it in all the right ways. And so, yes, we've won championships, but more importantly, we've just graduated players who've gone on to be successful in whatever career fields they choose. We have wives and moms in our alumni group that we're super proud of. Our annual Alumni Day just happened, and we got to welcome all those ladies back to campus, and they're like family to me. And so I'm just really thankful to have been here for 7 seasons now, and the players that have graduated are like family to me.
What was it like to recruit and coach some of the recent ACU greats, like Bree Wright, Dominique Golightly, and Sarah Williamson?
So those are 3 awesome players that I've had the chance to coach here, and Bree Wright, I really can't say enough about her. She was actually, I would call her my first recruit at ACU. And of course, the rest is history. She's a future Hall of Famer here, and just did so much and was a huge part of the championship wins that we've had. Dominique Golightly, similar, she has a recruiting story too. I remember she was on our recruiting list my first summer here, and so I visited Dominique's high school in Chickasha, Oklahoma. Got to watch her practice, and one thing I'll never forget about her is that when the practice was over, all the rest of the kids, as soon as the final bell went off, they ran out of the gym, and Dominique stayed and picked up everybody's water bottles, picked up the basketballs. It's visits like that that they're not really a public part of the recruiting process, but it really shows the character of the kid. And that was a huge part of her role as a player here, was not only what she brought to us in her three-point shooting ability and what she could do on defense, but just the teammate that she was for everybody here. Sarah Williamson, she was comfortable finishing with both hands, and she was so competitive. And when she came to us, I think she would say she wasn't a three-point shooter, but that's something that she really worked on in her 4 years here. And so she was able to come and bring what we needed in our system, which was more of a slasher who could get to the basket. And then she was willing to work on her three-point shot too, and really fit into what we were doing.
Heading into March, what are you hoping to see from you and your team?
You know, we've had our ups and downs this season. We've dropped some games that we didn't necessarily want to lose. We've been really close in some competitive games that maybe people didn't expect us to be. And I just think that now we're seeing that that preseason idea is coming true, and we're going to peak at the right time, which is what every college coach dreams of. You don't want to come out of the gates at full force, and of course you don't want to taper off there at the end, but we have such a talented group, and we just needed all the pieces to come together. And so I'm looking forward to that, seeing even more of that here in the coming weeks.
Moments away from the second half, getting ready to go. SFA in front over ACU 36-25 here at the intermission. As we say welcome courtside, everybody. Zach Carlisle along with Cohen Carpenter. Interesting first half. SFA never really got fully out in front, but a comfortable kind of casual 11-point lead.
And I think what was big about that second quarter especially was that SFA showed vulnerabilities that maybe weren't present for the rest of the seasons, and this is a game of streaks, right? So if ACU was to fight their way back in this one, it's to, on defense and outshoot them on offense.
Well, you look at some of the numbers here. I mean, ACU made one more three. Free throws, not a lot. Turnovers got kind of added up there in the second quarter. And so now I'm curious how these teams come out in the early part of the third quarter. SFA, 14 shots made. They're obviously capable on that side of the floor.
For sure, and it's either going to go one or two ways. Either SFA is going to completely take control of this thing and it's going to get out of hand for ACU, or ACU is going to fight their way back into this one. It's going to be a hard-fought battle on offense. It's going to come down to who outshoots who.
Yeah, I was kind of curious. You know, we saw a lot of Johnson in the paint. We saw a lot of Zaya Nugent. She was really impressive for SFA. On the other side of things, Jamie Von Ahrens leads the way with 8 points, but it hasn't been a great shooting night. They're going to need her to get going in the second half.
She's put up a lot of volume, but as you mentioned, her percentages are definitely way lower than her season average, and if they want to get back into this one, she's going to be a big part of that.
Yeah, no question about it. All right, so SFA, they are 15-0 in the WAC this year. They went 14-0 in the Southland last year. When's the last time they lost a conference game? For more on that, let's send it over to Joseph.
Well, hey guys, the talk has been here in the Teague Center that this is going to be the last career game here at the Teague Center for ACU women's basketball. Let's take a flashback at what happened at Moody Coliseum on March 3rd of 2020, where ACU beat SFA 88-62. And what helped ACU was that they had 15 three-pointers and 30 total rebounds, winning those two categorical battles. And right now, ACU has 4 three-pointers and 18 rebounds. And for Coach Goodenough, it's about preaching the little things of doing the right things correctly and maybe beating the SFA Conference Giants here today. Guys, back to you.
Hey, Joseph, thank you very much. March 3rd of 2020. It's the last time that team lost a league game, and it was to the Wildcats. And the final game at Old Moody Coliseum. And to quote Chris Berman, I would know because I was there. It feels like forever ago, pre-pandemic and all. But 11-point lead, and away we go in the second half. I'm curious, we talked about it briefly, how the first few minutes go here in the third quarter.
Yeah, and it's a game of streaks, so like we mentioned before, SFA is either going to put the reins on this one and ride away, or ACU is going to claw their way back into it.
Let's do this. Third quarter action underway from Abilene, Texas, on this very important second to last Saturday of the regular season. A win today for SFA, and they are outright regular season WAC champs. Ball tap free. First possession, Tatum Barber. Not much from number 22 today. Maddie Miller, a 4-point first and an offensive rebound. Cameron Mraz has a couple of threes in the game. Middleton, blocking foul here on Zaya Nugent, who's just always around the ball here in the game so far.
She has been everywhere. We mentioned her aggressive play in the first half, how she can set up from three and how she can go down low, and she draws those fouls right there. Great asset on that defense.
Interesting with Emma Middleton being inserted into the starting five here for the third quarter. Sarah Griswold, 3 personal fouls, so she doesn't get the nod to start the second half. Emma Middleton, 5 points, looking to add to it. The Lubbock Christian transfer, national champion at the Division II level. Her first and one grad year with Abilene Christian makes it a 9-point game, and away we go in the third.
If you're ACU's defense, it's all about exposing those weaknesses that made themselves obvious to you in the second quarter.
Nugent rattles off that one. 3 for 9 shooting. Nugent's got 9 points. Both teams, we'll see a ton of 2-3 zone, I should say, here in this second half. Miller, no good, in and out. Just the second 3-point attempt for Maddie Miller this afternoon. Playing in her final home game at ACU. Nugent, offensive foul. Miller took it.
So Nugent kind of exchanging offensive fouls there. She looks a little bewildered as she walks away from that play. Take a look at the replay right there. It's good defense there by Maddie Miller. Nugent maybe coming in a little too strong.
Nugent leaves the game. She's got 3. In foul trouble.
Be interesting to see how much ACU can capitalize with One of their more aggressive players off the court.
Barber looking for Middleton, and now a tie-up, and the arrow's heading the other way. Tatum Barber, 7 rebounds in 11 minutes, has not scored, but does have now 6 turnovers in the game.
Again, a lot of that's due to that sloppy second quarter from both sides. A lot of uncharacteristic basketball.
Angel Scott, 13 first half minutes off the bench, out there for the Lady Jacks. Johnson fouled here from behind by Miller. It's Miller's first of the game.
ACU defense trying to kind of slow things down there, especially on the SFA offensive side, because when the SFA heats up and they get into those fast breaks, we mentioned how good this defense was in getting steals, and the points off turnovers are immense coming into this game especially. So slowing things down is crucial here for ACU.
Tasharian Robinson back into the game, just 6 first half minutes with 2 fouls. Von Ahrens, this is saved in. Scott for 3, Robinson O-board. Stays at this end with SFA, and Mitchell turns it into a deuce.
And that's what you can't have at your ACU. You got those chances, you got those times that you can take the ball, you can turn it over, get the rebound, get it going your way. But just again, sloppy plays like that. Second chance points.
Around the perimeter it goes. Middleton. Half-court execution so tough against the stingy Jack defense. Von Ahrens, no. 2 for 11 shooting.
Von Ahrens' shooting woes continue. Again, if she gets that percentage up, so definitely a lot closer game as there's a whistle blown on the play.
Yeah, it's Miller with the foul. Barber back in. Miller leaves with foul number 2 of the third quarter. Keeping up with that speedster, Mitchell. She's only at 5'4", but just lightning quick with the basketball. Nice entry to Vischer. Nothing crazy in the stats for Vischer right now. 8 points, just calm, cool, collected out there, and as steady as they come.
She's really been doing tonight what she's been doing all season. That's being a role player, kind of utility, doing everything on the court.
Miraz, her third triple.
Big 3 there for Miraz, keeping it within 10, making sure this SFA kind of keeping their offense in check, not letting them go on a quick scoring streak here.
She has 3 threes in the last 6 games combined, 3 today. An answer from Angel Scott from the corner.
Just can't have that right there. Angel Scott more wide open than Julie Goodenough certainly would have liked.
And no team answers better in a moment like that than SFA. That's a staple of these Lady Jacks.
They shine brightest when the moment is biggest, that is for sure.
Approaching 4 minutes into the third. Miraz, another step out. Offensive rebound. Put back, Tatum Barber's in the scoring column.
That's why you got Tatum Barber on the court right there. She'll give you those second chance points with her height, with her aggressiveness. She'll get up, get the ball, give your offense a second chance. She did it well right there.
ACU's leading rebounder at 6 a game. Out of bounds that goes. Nikhil Kramer, the freshman, back in out of Oklahoma City.
So far into this third quarter, ACU's done a good job of not letting it get away from them. However, they haven't really fought their way back in. Still an 11-point lead for SFA. Definitely going to need to shore up some of those shooting issues that we've been mentioning. There's a whistle, another whistle blow on the play.
7, to your point.
Yeah.
Both teams 7 points here in the third, so it's been an even start.
Yep.
It's on Mitchell. Interesting for Brianna Mitchell. So she scores 10 points at Sam Houston in their win on Thursday night. And she did it without making a 3. It was her first double-digit game this year without having to rely on a 3-pointer. Very fun game for her in Huntsville to clinch the share of the regular season title with that win over the Bearcats in that battle of the Piney Woods. And a foul here as Middleton is fouled by Johnson.
Going for like the extended reverse layup right there. Good shot by Middleton. Way to get to the foul line. But yeah, as you were saying, talking about Mitchell, hard to find a weakness in this SFA lineup. Wherever you look, there's a stud. They've got everyone. They've got at least 5 players averaging double digits a game and stout all across the roster.
It's amazing to watch it. I'll be curious to see how many postseason awards they get individually. They're better as a team than they are individually, but their individuals can do it as well. There's just a ton of talent in this conference. Right now they're the 1, and Grand Canyon is the 2 in the WAC standings as we head towards the final week. Johnson draws the foul. It's on Middleton. She's got 3. Griswold has 3. Those are the 2 posts for Abilene Christian. Vischer through traffic, poked away and out of bounds. It'll stay at this end.
Vischer not having a bad game by any means, but ACU's definitely done a good job of keeping her in check. That's the leading scorer for SFA. She hasn't really popped off like we're used to seeing with her throughout the season, so kudos to this Wildcat defense.
Zone defense continues. 5 to shoot it. Angel Scott. Yes! Second triple of the quarter.
And she's demonstrated that she is lethal, especially when she's open. And the SFA offense is doing a great job of ball movement, getting the ball around and getting defenders off of Scott so she can have those open shots, extending their lead here.
Miraz, her 4th. Happy senior day.
Yeah, we mentioned this earlier. She's doing a good job of picking up the slack. Not a lot of our other players are having good shooting days, but Miraz is killing it from three-point land.
Johnson, nice catch. Oh, how about that? All in one motion. Put perfect English on the rim there. High low, too low, out of bounds. And a stoppage. We're dead even in the third quarter. SFA leads by 11. A reminder, Tuesdays on ESPN Plus, get in-depth coverage of all things Abilene Christian women's basketball. It's the Julie Goodenough Show, presented by ACU TV, every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central on ESPN Plus and the ESPN app. 11-point game. We are 12 apiece here in the third quarter. Again, ACU hanging around. SFA just kind of keeping it right where it's at here. Final 4 minutes feel like big here in the third quarter.
Yeah, and a lot of that keeping around, kind of hanging on, is due to Mirage. She's been great from downtown, hitting a lot of those shots where a lot of her teammates are not. Going to need to see a lot more offensive production if you want to turn that 11-point deficit and start eating into it.
Lady Jacks with it, shooting 50% for the game from the floor. ACU's got one more three. 6-5 in that front, and a foul on this end of the floor. Fouls have been mounting up a little bit. Fouls on Middleton again. For ACU, that's her fourth inside.
Middleton in the game because Griswold was getting into a little bit of foul trouble, so kind of putting head coach Julie Goodenough in a bit of a tough spot now.
And now Griswold returns with 3 of her own. We've seen 2 threes from Scott already. Now the floater, no good. It was an 11-point game at halftime. It's staying at that right here. With a chance for ACU to cut it back to single digits.
Mitchell on Miraz.
Height advantage for Miraz at 5'7". No good.
I'm going to say that often. But nevertheless, Mitchell one of the better defenders, so putting her on Miraz when she's heating up, especially down the road here late.
Quick hands,
yeah.
Really good defensively. Robinson. Look at the speed. Then the foul on the putback attempt.
See who the foul was on there.
Might be Bonaren's. And it'll be Robinson to shoot, or Johnson rather, to shoot 2. Ayanna Johnson.
Coming into this game, one of the big talking points that we mentioned was free throws and how ACU needs to get to the line, and because they're definitely better shooters from the line. However, SFA has outshot them from the line. They've made it. This will be the 10th free throw coming up here.
So you got Ayanna Johnson. Twice has been a second-team All-Southland Conference performer, averaging double digits this year again. 14-6 this year for the top team in the league. On her way to another all-conference honor. Earl, corner, quick trigger 3. Catch and release for the rookie.
ACU's demonstrated that they may be down, but they are not out. They've got shooters all across the roster. Bella Earl's one of them. She proves it right there.
Robinson, her response is in to Sherian Robinson.
This is back and forth basketball right now. Just going to come down to which defense can slow the bleeding.
Bonaren's mid-range. That just has not gone today.
Nothing has fallen from her wherever she's shooting. Down low in the paint from downtown. Nothing out of Bonaren's hands that seemed to have found its way to the rim.
See if they can get 21 involved again. She's got it. A game-high 16 for Johnson. Robinson, back-to-back, cans one. Timeout, Julie Goodenough and Abilene Christian. Largest lead for SFA, 16 points. Robinson back-to-back threes.
I am a white.
The 2022 WAC basketball tournament presented by Hercules Tires takes place March 8th through the 12th at the Michelob Ultra Arena and the Orleans Arena in Las Vegas. For more information on the road to WAC Vegas, visit wacsports.com. We're almost there. One more week of the regular season, and then it's the 10-team tournament in Las Vegas. SFA on their way to that top seed and a basically 4-round bye with the way the tournament's set up. Ball tapped out of bounds. But all of a sudden, a quick couple of threes for Sherian Robinson, and this lead is 16 for the Lady Jacks.
Lead 16, SFA looking to run away with it, and I think if this game doesn't go ACU's way, one of the biggest things is going to be the shooting percentages. Like we said coming into it, they needed to be perfect, and they've been far from it here tonight.
Barber on the move.
So getting back into this one's going to entail a lot of these players on this Wildcat roster lining up from downtown.
Angel Scott has been so good off the bench. Now Fisher in the corner. Oh, this team's burying him from deep now.
Burying him from deep, and especially when you get those wide open looks, you should be burying him from deep.
Well executed on this end. Earl goes for Barber. Her three's good. Just a 20% three-point shooter.
See, and that's what we knew coming into this one is the defenses wouldn't play as large of a role as the offenses would coming into this one. It's going to be up to the Wildcat shooters to be able to respond.
Miraz got her hand in the passing lane, and Miraz is going to shoot 2. Little medicine taste of their own. Defense to offense for ACU. 41 seconds to go.
Miraz with a chance here to get that SFA lead down back to 12.
So Cameron Miraz out of Little River, Texas, playing in her final game with ACU. And short here, she's got a double-digit game. It's her first double-digit game since December the 30th against Utah Valley. 12 points. Matches her best in league play. So Brianna Mitchell and company with a 14-point lead, 30 ticks in the third. Robinson, who's had a big quarter, put back and one. You bet it's Ayanna Johnson. She is unstoppable inside.
With the height there down low, as we take a look at the replay, there's those second chance points we were talking about, getting those offensive rebounds and the putbacks, and get fouled with the N1. Chance for a three-point play here.
Ayanna Johnson, a senior. Thinking back to that game, she scored 20 against ACU on January 10th. And she's got 19 today. Earl offline on a three. It might have been altered. It'll be saved in. Now Bon Aarons, her three's deep. Paige Borski, a senior for ACU, comes into the ball game. So we've got 5 to go in the third. Vischer's got it. Looking for one more. The bucket, no good. That'll take us to the end of the third quarter. SFA 26 points in quarter number 3. They've got a 17-point lead, and the fourth quarter's coming your way next on ESPN. Start of quarter number 4. SFA in front over ACU. It is senior day for these Wildcats here at the Teague Center. Let's talk more about it and send it over to Joseph.
Here at the Teague Center, let's say hello to the newly renovated Moody Coliseum as basketball and volleyball await for the finishing touches for Moody. And ACU can reflect on a 19-7 overall home record that Coach Goodenough's team put up here at the Teague Center, dating all the way back to fall of 2020. For Wildcat Nation, they're confident to say that home court advantage will be back and better than ever starting next season. Guys, back to you.
Joseph, thank you. Yeah, we can't wait for that with the Moody Coliseum coming up and ready next fall. And, coaches have always reflected to us and talked to us whenever we're so gracious to be able to chat with them, and they always say it's the classes that are graduating and the ones before that and the ones before that that help make new Moody Coliseum possible, and that's exactly what has happened. And these seniors, a big part of that for what has been to come for Abilene Christian. It's the start of the fourth, and it's Jamie Bon Aarons for her three, no good.
Yeah,
so glad to have you with us.
It would be a little poetic. We went back to that flashback. SFA's last conference loss was against ACU in Moody, so if they were to come back in this one, defeating them in the last game in Teague.
Hard to do right now with the way Ayanna Johnson's playing. 21 points for the senior out of Missouri.
What was a manageable 11-point lead coming in is now ballooned up to 19. SFA offense has really shown off what they can do here.
It's just, they make it look easy. They just do it so seamlessly. All of a sudden you look up and there it is. It's a 20-point difference. Lob in, Middleton catches, got it. Emma Middleton with 10 in her senior day.
Middleton with 4 fouls. Good enough keeping her in with foul trouble, but down by almost 20.
All the veterans out there, 5 of the 6 seniors for ACU right now. Stephanie Vischer, no. Barber rebounds. Again, what's on the line? SFA a win away from clinching the outright regular season championship here in the WAC. First-year members of this league. Middleton again, a dozen.
So when the shots from downtown aren't really going ACU's way, they're relying more on Middleton and relying more on these big bodies getting down in the paint.
Put back again, Ayanna Johnson.
Yeah, talking about success from the paint, who better than Ayanna Johnson? She's really put on a show this game.
She is incredible. Mirage lines one up. This ball's loose. This is a jump ball, and it's going to head to the visitors.
Nugent coming back into the game for SFA. Obviously, she adds a little bit of that offensive presence as we take a look at the Ayanna Johnson layup. And that's really been characteristic of that SFA offense all game, is going up and then getting your own putback, getting your own rebound.
Double-double today with 23 and 12. To shoot, it's Mitchell. To Sherian Robinson. Missed everything. Might be the first thing that's gone wrong for these Lady Jacks.
But they have the opportunity. They can afford to kind of sit on the ball here on their offensive possessions, keep their foot on the gas, and when you do that, you eliminate some of those mistakes that we saw in the second quarter. Mistakes like that right there. It's going to be a foul on Mitchell.
SFA has not trailed. And they really just don't trail. I mean, they don't get behind. You mentioned how they get off to quick starts and then they just hold on to them.
These past 16 games in this win streak, looking at all the final scores, no team's gotten within 10.
Middleton. And now Maddie Miller. 3 on her senior day as well.
A hot streak coming into this quarter. ACU lighting it up. That's what they need to do to pave their way back into this one.
Not quite done. 14. SFA continues to execute at this end, and they just keep putting it in 21's hands. Now Robinson. Oh, and hit the underside. That'll be out of bounds.
2 back-to-back plays that you like to have back there from Robinson. She missed the wide open 3 and shoots that one into the back of the rigging.
I'm amazed that turnovers haven't been a bigger factor. 18-15 in that category, but just 12 off of the turnovers for SFA. Just hasn't been much there. Middleton, another one. She is having herself a nice afternoon, 14 points.
Well, now we got a little something cooking here coming into the third quarter. There's going to be a timeout taken.
Well,
SFA a chance to get their bearings.
4 out of the last 5 have gone in for ACU. Middleton cuts it to 12 in the fourth.
My faith is a huge part of who I am.
SFA up 66-54. Let's look at the bracket. This, if it ended today, obviously it doesn't. We got a week left. Right now, ACU's the 5. They didn't play Thursday, so Utah Valley's 9-6. ACU's 8-6. 5 seed gets you a bye into the second round, but a 4 seed gets you a bye into the quarterfinals. You only got to play 3 games. If Abilene Christian can stay in the top 4, they'll give themselves a chance in WAC Vegas.
Yeah, we kept talking about the importance of this game for SFA and clinching that 1 spot. However, for ACU, just as important, affording your team yet another bye game to kind of, get things prepared and getting into the postseason.
SFA would lock up the 1 with a win. Johnson, what a day. 25 for Ayanna Johnson. She scored 45 points against ACU this year.
Middleton kind of on her right there, looking to take the charge, goes down, but the refs didn't see it her way.
14-point game. Middleton's got 14 and missed here in the paint, but poked back out.
Good effort there by Bon Aarons getting in there. She didn't get the rebound, but poked it back out to Miraz, keeping the possession alive.
They need this one. Miraz, her 5th. 5 threes. It's an 11-point game again.
You blink and ACU chipped 9 points off of this lead. That's the potency that we were talking about of both of these offenses, but especially when ACU gets to shoot and how they usually shoot.
Fisher fouled by Bon Aarons. Going up. 2 free throws coming. Cameron Miraz. 5 triples today.
Miraz has really paved the way for this offense, keeping them in a lot of these situations, making sure the lead doesn't get too out of hand. Those response threes after SFA have been hitting their own have been crucial so far in this contest.
For Miraz, that matches a career high with 5 threes made. What a time to do it. 1 of 2 for Fisher. $12 points, still a margin to climb here for ACU. They got a long way to go, but they're not out of it. Why not? Number 6!
And she is putting on a showing in West Texas right now. Cameron Miraz lighting it up, getting this crowd involved here in Abilene.
9-point game. Johnson, oh, it's her game too! Oh my!
How about the back and forth between these two scorers right here, both getting it done in their own separate ways. Miraz on one end, Johnson on the other, making easy work of Middleton, who was on her, working her way to Another shot at a three-point play.
27 now for Johnson is a new career high. And a chance for another. 28 points. Fun clinic these two teams are putting on, in particular Mraz and Johnson.
Mraz trying to set up the offense here.
Oh, now she picks up the dribble. Lob in. Bonerins, no. Put back, yes. 10-point difference again. Under 4 to go.
Under 4 to go. A lot of these high scores for both of these teams are going to start playing bigger roles, especially when it comes to free throw time.
Oh, Vischer, no. Got her back. Just stayed with it. That was great defense. But Vischer just doesn't go away. Back to 12.
Great back and forth here, and this has been a game of streaks so far, and there's been lots of back and forth, first quarter, second quarter. But good job by ACU fighting their way back into this one.
Heat check. Mraz way, 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 way out there that time. Wow.
Bit too ambitious with that shot.
A little extra deep there.
Yeah.
Well, we got the final week of the regular season coming up. SFA just 2 on the schedule, and they're both at home. Back in the confines of Johnson Coliseum in Nacogdoches and New Mexico State and UTRGV to get themselves ready for what's going to be a long week bye. They won't play until Friday in WAC Vegas if this holds as the #1 seed. Meanwhile, Abilene Christian, a different story in the final week. They've got 3 on the road because of the rescheduled game for Monday at Lamar. Then doesn't get easy for the Wildcats as they try to hold on to a #1 seed. You got to go 3 times on the road. It's 4 games in 8 days.
Yeah, it's a real rough patch to end the regular season here for ACU and this Wildcat squad. But Julie Goodenough coming into this game said she's confident in her team. She knows what they're up against, but she knows that in WAC, anyone can beat anyone. So ACU's going to have a tough test going into WAC Vegas.
They'll play Lamar for the second time, Tarleton for the second time, and Dixie State for the second time. 12-point ball game. SFA trying to put a bow on the regular season in the WAC, and a turnover.
Vischer trying to feed Johnson there. Probably the smart move. Johnson couldn't get her hands on it.
Important possession. Let's see if Mraz shoots that. No, she probably won't. Okay.
Yeah.
As Middleton's on the baseline. Oh, errant pass, picked off.
Looks like she was trying to go to Bonerins there, but the target moved.
Oh, and then the pass taken away here.
Got it right back. Need to score here, down 12.
You figure it's got to be double. You got to get it to single digits before it's 2 minutes to go, right?
At least.
Foul. Not a lot of those in this 4th quarter, so that's not going to matter. 2.5 to go. Individual fouls have added up. But the team fouls in the 4th, it's just 2-2. Bonerins catch, no.
Oh.
Loose, who's that? That's off of ACU. It looked like Griswold and Bonerins both had a tap off of him.
They're fighting each other for it. I think Griswold may have had the ball if Bonerins didn't come in. Can't have possessions like that, especially getting down late.
Nugent, no good.
Definitely need to get it within single digits here.
Bonerins, another touch. No good again. It is a 3 for 18 shooting performance for Jamie Bonerins.
Very uncharacteristic for a player coming into this game, well over 40% from the field. One of the better three-point shooters on this team as well.
Mitchell. Pass is loose. Still loose. Still loose.
Looked like there was
And did they grant a timeout there? Did anybody even have the ball?
No. I think they granted SFA a timeout there when it was on the floor.
That's interesting. I don't think anybody ever had the ball.
Nobody was even close to having possession. The closest one there was Nugent. I mean, it's a far stretch to call that possession. They were just running around for it on the floor.
See if we look at this here. This ball was poked free. Does anybody ever have possession of the ball?
Not once.
No. I don't think you
I mean, the closest argument you got there is Nugent during that last one. She kicks it out, but that's a big call, especially.
It'll stay here with SFA with a minute 33.
Minute 33, 14-point game.
Takes a little bit of a miracle here for ACU.
It's a possibility, but especially when calls like that aren't going your way.
Right. Well, and Abilene Christian's had chances here, though.
They definitely
have.
This
is 2.5 minutes without a basket when their defense was actually playing pretty well. They just couldn't get a basket at this end.
And that's kudos again to the SFA defense, shutting things down, recognizing the hot hand and cooling it off.
Vischer will turn it. Stephanie Vischer for 2. Putting a bow on this one today. The question will be, will they be undefeated going into the tournament, and who can hang with them for just 2 games in WAC Vegas? That'll be the question on the women's side. They've been so dominant all season long.
Yep. Less than a minute to play now.
This team has been incredible for years. More of the same today. A turnover here.
This game had a much different ring to it, especially during around halftime, during that second quarter when all those fouls were happening. Both teams looked especially vulnerable going back and forth with those turnovers, but good job in the third quarter, especially by SFA, going on a little bit of a run there, extending their lead to almost 20. Never looked back.
And I'll tell you what, SFA, they're not dangerous in Las Vegas. This team could be an 11 seed or, in the NCAA tournament. And don't tell me they can't win a game. They almost beat Georgia Tech last year, lost to them in overtime as the 12 seed in the NCAA tournament. They can win a game in March.
And earlier this season, I believe they only lost A&M. They only lost by like 7 or 5.
This team is unreal good from this league. Loose ball. It's a steal. And it's going to turn into a bucket for Zoe Nelson, the freshman out of Pflugerville, Texas.
Insult to injury here late.
SFA 25-3, 16-0 in a conference, 10-3 on the road.
But how impressive has this win streak been for SFA?
Incredible. It's going up to 17 straight.
Especially in a conference like the WAC where these things do not happen often.
And SFA is the outright regular season champion of the WAC with an 80-62 victory over ACU today. They win the regular season by themselves, and they will be the #1 seed in the WAC tournament in a little more than a week's time. How impressive is this SFA squad?
They're getting it done on both sides of the ball is the simple gist of it. They're good on offense and they're good on defense. They did show some vulnerabilities that I think going into WAC Vegas, a lot of teams are going to look at this game's film, see what ACU maybe did right in that second quarter to kind of shake them off their game a little bit, take notes from that. But however, in the third quarter, fourth quarter, they did a great job of responding when ACU was trying to mount a comeback. They quelled it fast.
How good was Ayanna Johnson today? 28-12.
Ayanna Johnson was a great expression of this SFA offense, which is a lot of players can contribute in a lot of ways.
Well, she is our player of the game, and she's going to put a headset on for us here today. As we mentioned, with 28 points and 12 rebounds. There it is. She's got the headset on, and our player of the game. And Ayanna, congratulations on the win, first of all. Well, you are outright champions in the regular season in the WAC. How does that feel when you hear that?
It's a major blessing. I'm just thankful that we're healthy enough to play this long and work this hard. We definitely have put the work in to earn this very good honor. We prepared for this in the summer, so it's been really good.
Well, coming into this game in particular here today, everybody gives you your best shot, right? You get them night in and night out. And this game, it kind of hung around. It was a 10, 12-point game for a long time. How'd you guys able to close that out there in the fourth quarter?
We put our heads down and we went to work. We did whatever we could to stop them. They're a really great team, and, we just had to put our best foot forward.
How's it feeling out there offensively there for you in particular today? 28 points. Teammates were finding you. It felt like the offensive execution worked out really well today.
It's just the chemistry that we built over the past 4 years, and honestly just this year. It's just been great to have the team support me and give me the ball, and I just want to reward them for doing that.
Well, and then finally, the way that you guys have been playing, how do you feel like you've come into this league, kind of made your statement in the WAC? New conference, a lot of new tough teams. You've come in and really made a statement. How does that feel?
It's been great just to put our name out there on a bigger stage, and I love that we're here. We're SFA. We're representing for the WAC.
Well, good luck in the final week.
Awesome.
We'll be ready to watch you in Vegas as well.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Ayanna Johnson, our player of the game, double-double today. 28 points and 12 rebounds as ACU and SFA go at it here today. That is going to do it. SFA 80 and ACU 62. This has been a presentation of the Western Athletic Conference on ESPN. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. Until next time, Zach Carlisle, Cohen Carpenter, Joseph Chapa, the whole crew led by Hutton Harris, Will King saying so long, take care. Good night from Abilene, Texas.